I'm Bob Hallmark in Longview today. I'm out at the Longview Fairgrounds, and this is the Gregg County Youth Expo. Today is Mechanics Day. Now this is building. This is the kids in FFA that actually come up with, some of them with their own unique designs, some of them with preset designs, and come up with things such as trailers, as you see over my shoulder, such as buildings here, like you see right there. And it's a lot of these kids are going to go on to be the next builders and the next people that are going to be running the agriculture industry in this country, and that's important. Now, to get a little perspective on this, we're going to be joined now by the judge who's out here taking a look at all of the projects today. And this is Brent Kiefer. Brent, now you're from Sims, is that right?
Yes, sir. I'm one of the advisors at Sims FFA at Sims James Bowie High School in Sims, Texas.
Okay. You're out taking a look at what they're doing today, and then there's a number of different projects from trailers to buildings to even a feeder with skids on it over there.
Sure.
In your experience, I'm guessing this is pretty important that we have kids that get into FFA because they're going to be the ones running the country in the future.
Absolutely, and especially these kids because they're really, their minds work a little bit different. They see things that we sometimes don't see, some of the smaller details, and you can really see that in some of the projects here today. The things that the time that they spent and the ideas that they've had, taking it from an idea to an actual project, an actual something that you can put your hands on is really one of the neatest things that we do.
Okay. Now, one of the things that we were just talking about too is, as a judge over the years, you've probably seen set piece designs that are very common. But every once in a while, you'll see something that is very unique.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like I said, when we see those unique things, we kind of step back and go, why didn't we think of that? There's a lot of these things that they made our lives easier. And we always kind of copy off of each other or take some ideas and maybe modify them a little bit. You know, up in our part of the world, up around Mount Pleasant, we have Preferts, we have Top Hat, we have Big Techs. MFAB, those guys up there, they're always looking for those kids that can run these machines, whether it be a welder or a cutting torch or even a plasma table. We're doing a lot of laser art stuff up in that part of the state too. And so these kids are those type of people that they want to be their designers or the people that they come and see. And they're always looking to train those kids, but it's amazing at what some of these kids come up with.
Yeah, I noticed earlier I was looking at the deer feeder that was over here, and then I noticed it had a very unusual aspect to it, which is the triangle suspension. I looked at it, and then you can see it a little bit over my shoulder right here, but I looked at it and I said, well, that's interesting. I've never seen one like that before, and it's the kids came up with the idea on
right.
that.
And a lot of times the kids will come up with the idea, but the advisors and the adults will kind of help guide them where they need to be. But here again, especially in my opinion, and in part of my job is letting those kids have that ability to go out and actually try that. You know, a lot of times I've had a lot of projects that started out as one thing and ended up something else by the time we were done with it, because when we started putting it together, their mind started working. They said, well, let's add this or let's take this away. Yeah. And it turned out better than what we originally thought it was going to be.
Now, some of the teams that are here today are from Longview as well as Kilgore and Sabine. And I'm guessing in your inspection today, you've handed out a couple of blue ribbons already, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. We've got a lot of blue ribbons. And when we talk about blue ribbon quality, we're wanting those things that are really, that kind of stand out. But we look at things like welds and how well they come together. We look at how joints come together, how the pieces are put together, and the fasteners that they use. In this case of this deer stand that's sitting right here in front of us, there's a lot of mechanical parts inside that thing, and it took a lot of time. And these kids spend hours and hours and days just doing those things. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience.
And that's the important part here is the kids have dedicated their time to
Absolutely.
it. We cannot understate this because they're going to be the kids that are going to be doing the building in the future. They're going to be doing the agriculture in the future.
Sure.
They're going to be the ones that are going to be very important in our society.
Absolutely. And like I said, these kids spend hours and hours not only in school, but they spend time outside the school day coming and working on those projects, especially when we get down to this time where it's time to go show. We're having to button up those little pieces and parts left over and try to get everything exactly up to par, because just like a cattle show, just like a pig show, just like any of the animals we show, these are show projects first, and then they're going to go out and be functional. So they have to have that look to them. They have to be finished. They have to be painted. They have to be clear coated, whatever it is that the kids want. They have to be flashy to begin with, but they still have to be functional.
And impressed with what you've seen
Oh,
so far?
absolutely. These guys have done a really good job. And like I said, We've got kids from Longview. We've got kids from White Oak and Kilgore. We also have some kids from Sabine, and so there's a lot of kids from around this area that are competing just here in Gregg County. And they'll, like I said, a lot of these projects will move on to what we consider to be the majors, like Fort Worth, San Angelo, Houston, Austin, and they'll go compete against other kids from across the state.
Okay. Well, Brent, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Continued success, and appreciate you being with us.
Thank you very much.
All right. And we'll have much more on this story tonight on KLTV 7 News. For KLTV Web Extra, I'm Bob Holma.